Okay, so let's play a couple rounds of Oblivion just to see if it's any good. You start on location tile 1 in the lab, and it's like choose your own adventure on steroids with a hex-based combat, deck builder, lots of build potential. So let's start out in our exploration codex in the lab. Consciousness returned, and I apologize, I don't have the great narration voice of some people. Consciousness returned like a drowning person breaking the surface, violent and gasping. Your cheeks are wet with tears you don't remember crying. Strange shapes dance at the edge of your memory. The last thing you recall is standing in your backyard, listening to the haunting sound of trumpets thundering down from the sky. Your fingers scrape against something smooth and cold, a glass barrier sealing you inside. Through the transparent surface, yellow-suited figures dart like fevered dreams, their movement frantic and jerky beneath the shriek of alarms. Then she appears, a blue being too elegant to be human, her eyes burning like crimson stars in the dim light. And when her voice invades your thoughts, it coils through your brain like liquid mercury. Forgive me. I know this is a shock, and I wish I had more time to explain. But for now, we have to reach the Delphi and restore your memories. It seems you are our last hope. You detect a hint of regret in her disembodied voice. Suddenly, the glass dematerializes with an ominous hum, and she helps you from the pod. You spring up with supernatural agility. It's immediately obvious the body you occupy isn't your own. Before you have time to ask any questions, her telepathic voice slithers back through your consciousness with grim certainty. We're going to have to fight our way out. So we resolve these things in order. First, we're going to take quest card number 1. That's this. Get to the Delphi. And the reward, we'll read Journal 42 when we get the opportunity. So next, encounter number 1. Combat takes place on hexes, like thus. I've got a book that kind of shows where everything goes, but our little player is going to go here. These are going to be the enemies. And combat is unique in this game. I've never seen anything like this. So the way it works is you have these behavior sheets. All the potential moves are here, and then you put these slides over the top, and this dictates how it behaves. So the little bubbles that are clear reveals the behavior of each of these units. So but we don't cover it yet. First, we're going to choose our cards. So combat revolves centrally around combinations of cards, and your build is the constitution of these cards you choose. So these are secondary skills, and when you start out as unarmed, and these are all the cards you have in the beginning. So weapons can be swapped out, and then each round of combat you choose what weapon you want to take into combat. So you can only choose one, and you have 2, right? So in this demonstration, I've got the Warhammer, and I've got my unarmed. And then you have 3 secondary skills, and then you have 3 profession skills. Now the professions add a whole new layer of complexity because they bring new mechanics into the combat. So like I said, I'm going to show, not tell. That's better. You wouldn't have these cards to begin with, but I'm going to show you just how much of a gangster this decked out Seraphim as the hunter profession really is. So I'm going to play this card, and then this card, the demon hunter profession. What their mechanic revolves around traps. At a 1 initiative, I'm going to use my tether, so it's a range 4, cripples, vulnerability target, and it'll pull the foe to you. So it shoots the thing out and yanks the target towards you. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a trap, and upon the trap, Digger deals 9 damage for 2 rounds. I'm going to lay this trap right here, where I'm going to pull this sucker into, or right here. Let's drop a little trap right here. Well, first we got to see what these fellas are going to do. So put the slides over, see what kind of, they're not going to be able to beat one though, I promise you that. The Sentinel has a 22 initiative, and the Shaman has a 31 initiative. Me, the Sentinel, and the Shaman, will resolve it in that order. So I'm going to shoot my thing out, my tether out. I'm going to yank that sucker to it. So he already has a vulnerability of 1. We'll just say enemy 4. So he has a vulnerability of 1. He has 2 defense right off the bat, so I knocked the 2 defense off. Vulnerability means he receives 1 additional damage. Cripple means that when he moves, he can only move half the range. That's not going to apply because he's right here next to me. So it'll be 10 damage with the vulnerability. His defense will knock off 2, so that's 8. 8 from 20 is 12. We know the S has got 12 hit points. Okay, so he's vulnerable. Now he's going to go at a 22 initiative. So he's got 2 defense we knocked off down to 12. He's going to move 2, not going to move. He's already there. He's going to do, he has a range of 3, but he's next to me. He's going to do 2 damage for his first attack. His second attack is going to modify that with a 1, so that's 3. His special action is he would have a range 3 and he would pull me adjacent. So he has a tether sort of ability, but I'm already adjacent to him. So this means he's going to do 3 damage to the old boy. So that knocks it down to 22. Okay. Now this stupid shaman that I hate is going to go. So they have a movement. He's going to move 3. See, that's revealed. A range of 0. The first attack is 2, so he's not going to be able to go. So he's going to move 1, 2. But range 2, heal ally 3. Right? So he's going to heal his ally up to 15. And that's why I hate those little dudes. Okay, so next round. Instead of going on, I think you get an understanding of how combat works. Instead of playing the rest of it out, we'll pretend like we have resolved this encounter. But anyway, so victory rewards. Draw 3 tier 1 weapon blueprints. So these are our weapon blueprints. So a power fist, a battle axe, and a warhammer. And then these have no extra effect, but when I get a weapon, that means I can use the cards associated, or I have access to the cards. And then I use experience points from the encounter to buy these cards. So this card costs 2 experience points. This one's 2. So these will be the new cards I have access to if I draw. You know, I have all of these, and then this is just a blueprint, so I have to build the blueprint with materials that I use to harvest from these guys. The blueprints aren't automatically weapons, so let's say I built a battle axe. Then I would have access to these cards, and you use experience points to buy the skills. So 2 experience points, 2 experience points, 4 experience points, and 4 experience points. And from this encounter, I get 5 experience points too at the end of it. So I could buy 2 of these cards. So these are the only cards you have in the beginning. And then you start adding more skill cards to it by spending the resources that you get from encounters. I made that probably overly complicated. It's not super complicated, but so I'm going to draw those, collect 6 crafting material that you use to build the weapon that you want to build. And then we're going to read journal entry 21. All right. Your eyes are first drawn to a large bank of computers lining the left wall, their screens flickering with cryptic data. On the far wall stands an unusual machine. It's designed alien and organic, out of place among everything else. The machine hums ominously to the rhythm of pulsing blue tubes that snake out from its base. They seem to connect the computer to the biopods on the right. As you take in the eerie scene, Yaya's telepathic voice cuts through your thoughts, urgent and laced with tension. "We don't have long," she said. "Those alarms triggered the Seraphim protocol. If you need to do something, do it quick." So it's not one of the two. I've actually changed it. So you can do both of these. So access the computer, read journal entry 1, or inspect the machine, journal entry 34. 34 is a little more interesting, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so 34, the journal. The floor writhes with pulsating blue tentacles. There's no approaching the computer's interface nested inside the machine without treading on the living circuitry. EA's voice infiltrates your mind as if predicting your thoughts. That's the mnemonics transducer, the only one left in existence. You should feel honored. Of all the third density consciousnesses in the universe, it chose yours to merge with the Aegis Revenant. You hear a maniacal tinge in her voice. Once we restore the Aegis' original memories via the Delphi, you will reclaim all your powers and we make a stand against the Anarchy. She touches her finger to her temple. A blue cord of psychic energy wafts out of her head and disappears into the machine like smoke. Resolve event card 1. So these event cards add variability and give you choices. I apologize for the itty-bitty teeny tiny text. The living machine, the biomechanical tree begins to pulsate with an eerie red glow. Banks of bark of the trunk starts folding and unfolding like origami, revealing a series of openings. So you have 3 choices. You can step in and merge with the tree, extract a neural processor during one of the transformations in the bark, study the patterns, so analyze the tree's transformation sequence. So let's step in this sucker, why don't we? So the reward, we get living metal plating, armor mod, so we're going to add +3 shield to your next 3 rounds of combat. Cost, so place all skill cards with defense on cooldown. The second reward would be you get a neural overclocker. Your next combat first attack deals 2x damage. Cost, the tree folds in on your arms, dealing 2x damage. The third one, you get brain burn. So there's no reward and you put 1 skill on cooldown for the next encounter. So that's that. We could also do the second event on this one, which is check out the computers, which is this one. I'm not going to do that. If you want to do that, you can play test it or order the game. But after we do this, then we got to travel to tile 2, right? So this is how you explore. So now we're here. Now we've got 2 options. We can either go east, down the east corridor, or west. And depending on which way we go, we'll switch to the corresponding page in the exploration journal, the exploration codex.